Good evening, welcome all of you. Here we are to discuss on a great topic, that is on God has a sense of humor. That is the topic of discussion for this glorious evening. God has a sense of humor, and we'll read from Mother. Mother explains. Someone asked me. Mother tried to clarify. Someone has asked me, how is it possible for God to reversal himself to an unbeliever? Means unbeliever, it means that he does not believe in God. So, how is it possible for God to reveal himself? That is what. How? Because unbeliever, he is not having the interest. He does not believe in the presence of the God. He does not believe God. So how is it possible for the God to reveal himself before to this so-called unbeliever? And that's very funny, Mother quotes, because it is if it pleases God to reveal himself to an unbeliever, I don't see what would prevent him from doing so, because he has a plan. It is nothing depends upon the questioner or the people who is answering. It does not depend. It is a matter between the divine God and of course the unbeliever. Question is that how God will reveal himself to the unbeliever. Mother, in the same direction, same wording, in the same process, on the same line, explains. If he wills to reveal himself to the unbeliever, then what I don't see what prevent him from doing so. He can do it. It is his freedom. He has got enormous freedom. He can do anything. He can choose any way. He can go up his own way, because believer and an unbeliever, these are the only the absence of belief, nothing else. These are the things. Both have been created from the divine only. Somebody believes, somebody not believes. Believer, he is also confused, and non-believer, he is also confused. Because one question was put to somebody else. He was a believer. He says, God is there, and the answer is no. Then confused, he is a believer, no, astic. So what he will do? And after some time he murmured and went away. After his departure, somebody else came. He's a Nastic, non-believer. He is asking the same person, God is not there? This gentleman is asking, yes, God is there. So how he is murmuring? I feel he's a Nastic. He does not believe in the existence of God. He is feeling till the end of my life, I feel God is not there. I am an astic. Then how this gentleman is saying that he is there? Anyway, he murmured and went away. After their departure, this gentleman's wife came and said, I observed two people's question, and you have answered in different ways. How is it possible? And then this gentleman is saying, this believer actually, he knows, he believes that God is there. Still, then there is confusion. I told no. So he has to inquire, go for more queries. He has to find out where is the God and what is the truth. And for the on the contrary, second person, he is a non-believer, but he is confused. Something is there. He thinks God is there. For him, I told yes, he is there. So he has to clarify himself. He has to certify himself. He has to please himself. He has to ascertain himself. So he has to go for more queries. That is what the question. So if God wishes to reveal himself to the non-believer, then who can prevent him? That is what. And Mother then quotes, on the contrary, he has a sense of humor. Very interesting. Very interesting. He has a sense of humor. Sri Aurobindo has told us many times already that the Supreme has a sense of humor. Already we have seen the Lord has a sense of humor. Then do you think that the Lord is actually something like a Nastic or something like a Astic? Lord has also a sense of humor. He is doing. So now one question I will put before you. One beautiful question was there. Some one day the food was prepared in the ashram, and it was served to Sri Aurobindo first, and Sri Aurobindo took the food and went away. No reaction. After his departure, other people came and of course enjoyed the food. They felt there is no salt in the food. Okay, actually, what is this? Sri Aurobindo has taken everything and he has no reaction at all, as if everything was all right, salt was there. So anyway, in the evening class, somebody put a question, sir, did you feel anything uncomfortable in the food, in the lunch, right, this morning? Sri Aurobindo looks at him with a very interesting manner. He says, as salt has its own taste, saltlessness also it has got its own taste. So this is the thing. Very simple, very fundamental thing. Very great answer from Sri Aurobindo. Nothing to put in the same way, same manner Sri Aurobindo is putting the answer before the world, not only to the questioner, but to the world. As salt has its own taste, like thus, saltlessness has its also own taste. That you have to go through, you have to see. Anyway, mother course that Sri Aurobindo has told us many times already that the Supreme has a sense of humor. Then that we are the ones who want to make him into a grave and invariably serious character. He has a sense of humor. But thing is that our thought, our planning, our way of thinking, that's what made him a man of serious character and this thing, invariably a serious character. So he may find it very amusing to come and embrace on the unbeliever. Very interesting. Really, really truth. Good, great truth. So he has, and he may find it very amusing to come and embrace the unbeliever. Someone who has only the day before declared God does not exist. I don't believe in him. All that is folly and ignorance here in the mother courts. That declaration was there like this: someone who has only the day before declared God does not exist. I don't believe in him. That is the declaration. All that is folly and ignorance. He gathers him into his arms. The God. The declaration by the person was there, God is not there, I don't believe in him. And the very same day, what happens, he gathers him into his arms, he presses him to his heart, and he laughs in his face. That is what he believes. He is not, he's a unbeliever. He's telling God is not there. I don't find his existence. He does not exist. God does not exist. I don't believe in him. It is a folly and ignorance. So that is what. And the same day, on the very day, God gathers him into his arms, presses him into his heart, and he laughs in his face. That is what. That is the truth. He is in the believer. He is in the non-believer. How can you differentiate between the believer and the non-believer? It is simply nonsense. Everything is possible, even things which in our small and limited intelligence seem absurd. He is an astic unbeliever, he is an astic believer. So how can you believe? Unbeliever says it is absurd, his existence is next to impossible. And the same day, God takes him into his arms and puts him in his breast, laughs in his eyes. That is what he has a sense of humor. That is what you have to take care of. It is a great thing, great debate. So again, we'll go for the next one. After this one, so knowing the God, that is the knowing the divine. How can we know the divine? So divine. In the most of the things, Sri Aurobindo and Mother course, divine. Very limited use of God and gods. So the thing is that already we have discussed. He is the leader. He leads and he does not drive. Already extra a couple of articles we have already discussed in that. So here is the question before you knowing the divine, how to know the divine. So in the integral yoga, divine plays the only way, the most important way. Divine is the beginning, divine is the end. There is nothing but a divine. And last time we kept discussing, if you are putting your stress to find something except the divine, you are losing your time. You are wasting your time. Only divine. Divine was the beginning. Divine is the middle. He is among us. He is around us. He is surrounding us. And the divine is the goal. There is no other. Only divine. Nothing but the divine. But here, how to know the divine? Who is the divine? How shall we get connected with the divine? How shall we know the divine? How shall we indicate that he is the divine and not nobody else? How can we do all these things? How can we go? That is the bright question. That is a brilliant, $1 billion question before us. And here also same way mother tries to explain us knowing the divine. So because yoga means union. No, everybody says in the ancient philosophy it was their union, and also here also the union. That is yoga. But union with what? That is what the question. In all your being, not that I know so that I have been connected orally. No, to be united in all your being with the one, capital O, that is the yoga, the one. Then again, Sri Aurobindo quoted, to be united in all your beings with the highest capital H. Who knows who is the highest? Simply means now you feel many, God self-declared Babas, self-declared gods are there. They are in the behind the bars. They are in prison for one reason or another. Once upon a time, millions of people were their followers. Now they are staying alone, living apart. They are in the prison house. They have been many times you can accept. They have been accused for one or many cases. So many ways they have their life has been. They are entrapped for the wrongdoings. But actually, here is the question. Actually, who is the highest? Who is the one? And still in the again course, to be united with in all your being with the all capital A. That is what the yoga. So that all, the highest, the one, the everything, who are they really? That is what to be known. And how shall I know the divine? That is the question. How shall I know the question? At least know. I should know who is the divine. Then I might think of the getting united, because I am here to get united doing the yoga, not only in this present scenario or at the present time. It has been being done from that since time immemorial. I keep questioning, but thing is that who is the divine? How shall I know the divine? That is the question. But the answer, no, nobody can answer it. If there is a question, and there must be answer. And answer I will try to quote from the mother, the great divine mother. Mother quotes, do you understand, mother quotes initially, do you understand the only way of knowing divine is by identifying in oneself with him? That is what. Mind knows the sin. Mother knows the father. Mother can say who is the father. Now itself, of course, DNA test is there, but thing is that very difficult. Mother knows who is the father. So your mind knows what is the error. That is what. Where is the sin? Where is the error? That your mind can only see, can tell, because it has committed by the mind only. Body body is the only instrument. Mind has for sin. Mind has actually guided you to do some sins. So it can explain. So how can we know the divine? Knowing the divine is by identifying oneself with it. That is the only way. Get identified with the divine, then you will know who is the divine. Otherwise, very difficult. Theoretical ones. People kept going to temples, mosques, churches, gurudwaras, and they don't find, because they don't know what is the divine. Simply they are going for praying, because their ordinary self-motivated purposes are there. They want to go to fulfill it. There is no other. There is only one, the single way, one way and a single way. Hence, you are the master of this method of identification. Mother quotes, you have got the privilege of doing sadhana. You are the master of this method of identification, because you are already in the method. Sri Aurobindo and the mother has guided you in many paths. They are still guiding. They will be guiding. So you are the master of this method of identification. You can identify yourself with the divine. You have got the method. You have got the mastery. You know the way. You know the path. And you know the divine who really. The divine is what we adore in Sri Aurobindo. Mother has quoted. Only the divine is, Sri Aurobindo. So you choose your object for identification. How shall I get? I know, I get the method. I know that this is the only method. So you choose the object of you for identification. You want to identify yourself with the divine. But so long as you don't know how to identify yourself, you know the path, you know the track, you know you are the master, you have been guided. Mother and Sri are there. But thing is that you have to choose the path. Thing is that you have to identify how you have to identify. Know how to identify. 101 things will always come across your path. You choose many ways. 101 things will come always come across your path, pulling you here, pulling you there. So many things will come, they will guide you here and there. You will little front and back only, that is the thing. Only forward, 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 because at the end of the tunnel there is light. At the end of the war there is victory. You have to go forward. Charaibati, Charaibati, you have to go forward. And something will be there. 101 things will come across your path, pulling here, pulling there, scattering you, and you will not be able to identify yourself with him. That is the what? It is the a long way you have to go. So many things will come here and there. You don't know really the path. They will be pulling you here and there. You will be unable to identify yourself with him. But you have, if you have learned how to identify yourself, if you know the method, technique, you have been properly guided. And if he is the mother and the master is guiding you, if you have learned how to identify yourself, then you will have to orient the identification. That's what. Whatever may be there, I know the track because I have gone. This is the identification. It is done. So what happens? What happens really? You want to orient the identification, place it where you want it, and then hold on where until you get the result. Hold it. You see, you know. So these roads will not confuse you. You will not never be confused, and there itself you will get the result. It will come very fast if you are master of the power of identification. So just imagine one you are appearing the exam. So if you are thorough and master in mathematics, algebra, immediately you will go and do the solve the problem and come back. Otherwise, you will be simpling. You will be adding 2 plus 4 plus 3, 1 square plus 2 square plus 3 square, a plus b whole square. Like this, so many ways. If you know you are master, then immediately you just put everything tick 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 tick, and within somebody the rest of the world, when they will be calculating, you will be finishing the things and you will be trying to submit your papers. That is what the great thing. Then mother quotes, if you will come very quickly. Ramakrishna has to say that the time could be vary between 3 days. How long it will take? It may be 3 days, 3 hours and 3 minutes. So 3 days for those slow people, 3 hours for those who are little swifter, and 3 minutes for those who are used to it. That is what. Immediately, as soon as you see mother quoted in the first sight I found him, I find Sri Aurobindo, whom I called the Lord of my hearts. He was Sri Aurobindo. So for me, who are very lazy and very slow, so for them actually it needs 3 days. For actually a little bit swifter, for them 3 hours, and 3 minutes for those who are used to it. They know the purpose. That is what. So you must know the divine, and you must know divine is the beginning, divine is the end, divine is with and around it throughout. So he is the man with the sense of humor. He is in the unbeliever, he is in the believer. There is no doubt of it. Bande Mataram.